Hello, everyone. We are on Healcast, and we apologize for the technical difficulties on the Facebook Live format. And it's just another opportunity for Noelle and I to demonstrate some of the things we've learned in the type of coaching that we both do. Because we talk a lot about being resilient in the face of things that you cannot control and sticking with the goal and not with the plan, because oftentimes the plan does not go as we were expecting it to go. And I think that certainly applies to all of our healing journeys as well. So welcome to Healcast. My name is Sarah Regenspan. I am also a coach like Noelle. I love to work with folks who are dealing with chronic illness and on their healing journeys. I also love to work with activists and organizers and folks in the social, racial, environmental justice movements, especially. And Noelle invited me to interview her today about what she does and what she's sharing with the world in her business and her coaching. And I'm really excited to be here.
Thanks, Sarah. I'm excited too.
Yay. So Noelle and I met at one of the trainings that the coaching community that we are a part of does. And we are both on a chronic Lyme, chronic illness journey, and we actually ended up forming a support group with another of our buddies in the coaching community, and we have a monthly call together. We also check in on a really regular basis to see how everybody's doing, and it's been an incredible gift, for sure.
The best.
Yes.
The best.
So that's how we know each other. And shall we get started with some questions?
Yeah, let's dive in.
Okay, great. So, Noelle, can you tell us, all of our millions of viewers around the globe, how it is that you got started in this type of work?
Sure. Yeah. Like you, Sarah, I have an organizing background. And just knew from an early age that I really wanted to do as much as I could to make the world a better place, as trite as that sounds. I thought I wanted to do international development work, and then after actually going overseas and doing some of that, I saw that a lot of the problems that people were dealing with overseas were starting here in the US. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do stuff to work in the US. And then over time I learned that, the kind of organizing work I was doing just wasn't in the cards for me because I kept getting sick. I basically started having symptoms in high school. I didn't end up getting diagnosed with Lyme until 2013. Thought that I had fibromyalgia for a long time. But I had 4 sort of pretty significant burnouts where I would start a job that I loved and then have to leave because I was sick. And after the 4th one, I was like, okay, universe, I get it. I need to do something different. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to try to figure it out. And my partner had been working with a coach, and which at first I was very resistant to. I was like, why don't you just talk to your friends? Like, why would you pay someone for support? But I ended up going to this training that we both did, Mastering Life's Energies at the Academy for Coaching Excellence. And that kind of blew my mind open to all this possibility that there might be an easier way to do things. And there might be a way that I could, do meaningful work and also heal at the same time. Because I was sort of stuck in this place of like, well, I either have to be a secretary, which is going to be boring as hell,
Yep.
and not be sick, or I have to be sick and do the work that I love. And coming out of that training, I ended up hiring a coach to help me figure out just what this possibility might be for me. And just in the process of getting coached, I learned so much about myself and just got so much out of it. Even like you know, 4 or 5 sessions in, I was like, I gotta bring this to other people. Like, this is just like way too cool not to share it with the world. And I think one of the biggest breakthroughs I had was around asking for help. I just had a lot of shame and guilt around asking for help. And I felt like nobody understood my illness, and they didn't really understand like how much I was suffering, because for, you know, like a lot of people with Lyme, like it was a largely invisible illness. Like people might have been like, oh, Noelle looks a little tired, but it just felt really hard to tell people like, no, really, like I really like would love it if someone could drive me to the grocery store right now. And that was such a huge breakthrough for me when getting coaching and getting sort of all my internal conversations about that out of the way, so that I could actually ask for support without freaking out about it. That's just one example of what I got out of it, but I was like, this is great. This is going to help so many other people heal, and I really want to give it to other people.
Yay. I'm so glad you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, ditto.
Yeah. You already partly answered this, but what is it that you most want to contribute through your coaching? If you have anything to add.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be interested to hear what the answer is for you too, Sarah. But I think I really want to support people to see possibility, because I think that, I mean, everybody gets stuck, but people that have been sick for a long time can feel really stuck. So just, that's a big one. And then also supporting people in bringing ease and grace to, you know, either healing or just managing their illness. Like what I'm always wanting to do is support people in making all of the health stuff easier and less time intensive and less energy intensive, so that they can do more of what they love, even if it's just in a small way, because I believe that that's such an important part of healing. So that's a big thing for me. But yeah, what would you say as a coach who works with similar groups, people?
Yeah, well, I think one aspect that you touched on that feels really important to me is how hard it can even feel to just talk about it. So I think a huge step that we need to take, both as individuals, but in the, you know, institutions that we build, our organizations, all of the systems in our society, being able to tell the truth about what's happening with our health, because so often people feel like they have to, you know, put up and shut up to, you know, to get through the day, to keep their job. There's so much fear about telling the truth that, you know, hey, I'm not doing well. I'm not feeling well. I really, you know, I really need some help to figure out how to heal. So I think that coaching can be a space for that, for people to just tell the truth about that. This is what's really happening, and have someone really create a space to hear them and to be with them with that, so that they can then take the next steps. Because I think a lot of the fear around it comes from feeling alone and feeling like other people won't be supportive or they won't understand if you tell the truth. And I know that I felt like that for a long time. And then, as you said, you know, supporting people to both get what they need in order to heal, and to use their instincts to do that, which I think a lot of what our coaching work does, is gives people the space to take the next steps that they already feel are the right next steps for them. And I think so much of the healing journey is an intuitive process. There's just so many things out there, especially in the alternative holistic healing realm. I mean, there's just thousands of treatments and different practitioners, and it can be very confusing and overwhelming. And I think most people make the best choices for them about what might be helpful to try next, you know, using their gut and kind of clearing away the noise in our minds that can be really distracting from taking the next steps. And then, you know, connecting back to both of our organizing backgrounds, I think I've come to believe that this kind of work and giving people space to heal, and space to take care of themselves and to really define what's important for them is really crucial to being able to change the world, to be able to address climate change, to achieve racial justice, climate justice, an economy that works for everyone. I think that these tools are just a really crucial piece to that, and that's a big part of what I love about this work.
Yeah. I so appreciate you sharing that, Sarah. And I'm glad that you brought up the part too about, helping people, listen to themselves and use their own intuition. Because two things I wanted to say about that. One, I think with so many of us who get completely left behind by the allopathic medical system, we really have to be our own doctor in some ways and our own advocate and our own medical detective. And some of that is being willing to look inside and be like, okay, what's really going on? Because, and I just wrote about this recently, but it can be really tempting to just be like, I need the answer. Who has the answer? And just like go to all the people. But so many of us have so much wisdom inside of us. And I think that's the beautiful thing about the coaching that you and I do, is that we're not giving people any advice. We're supporting them and seeing what's true for them and seeing what they already know. And I think, I often have to correct people. They'll be like, oh yeah, Noelle's like a health coach, a wellness coach. But I really think that, what we practice is life coaching, and it's different because we're not saying like, oh, you need to eat this or you need to do that, or we're not really telling people what doctors to see. I mean, I think both of us do that outside of the coaching realm, but I think that's a really beautiful thing that makes this really different from some of the other health coaching that's out there.
Yeah. So that was lovely. So looking at how you offer your coaching, how would someone know if it's a good time for them to get coaching?
So I really, in terms of, so I also work with people that don't have health challenges, but for the people that do, I like to work mostly with people that have been dealing with something for a while, and either they feel like they've tried everything and they don't know what to do next, or they know exactly what they want to do next, but for some reason they're not doing it. Mm-hmm. Those are sort of my favorite sort of time frames in which to support people, because I feel like it's a really ripe place to peel away all the BS and see what's really there for people.
Awesome. And with all of the experience that you have with your own healing and with witnessing other people's healing journeys, both within and outside of coaching, what do you think it takes for someone to heal fully, or to really get themselves at least on the path where that's possible, where that's really where they can sort of see that as something that can be achieved with relative ease?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's kind of, and again, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this too, but I think it's kind of a multi-pronged thing. I think part of it is, at the most basic level, like believing that you can heal and believing that you're worthy of healing. I think that's a really big thing. And there is not one person that I have worked with who wasn't really hard on themselves, which I think I kind of knew that before I started doing this work, but it's just so clear now. To the point where I'm actually working on a group program called How to Not Hate Yourself, because it's such a big component. And it's like, I mean, everybody beats themselves up, right? But if you're beating yourself up around things like not taking your medicine or not exercising, it's just, you're taking a bad thing and you're making it so much worse for yourself. And it's so much harder to see possibility or to really even experience joy when that's the case. So I think that's a big thing. And I think, recognizing the internal conversations that are getting in our way is just so huge. I mean, especially in the Lyme community, I'm sure you've met some of these people, Sarah, but there's people that they've been sick for like 20 years, maybe more. They've tried everything and they haven't gotten better. Or, you asked about healing fully. Like, I also see people inside the Lyme community and elsewhere where they'll get better and then they get sick again, and they get better and they get sick again, like I used to be. And until they clear out whatever is causing the cycle to be like that, or that's keeping them from really healing at all, then it's just always going to be like that. And I mean, I don't think that anyone is really like destined to be sick forever. Like, you might have some like disabilities and like things that you live with, but I don't think anyone should be or has to be like in a state of like chronic crisis. And I think that crisis comes from struggle, and that struggle comes from our internal conversations.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wow, it's like such a whopper thinking about what it takes to heal fully. Yeah, I love a lot of what you just shared about the internal conversation, that sense of struggle. And I think for me too, it's just been everything I do that feels like I'm aligning with what feels like is really my purpose, really what I'm supposed to be doing, that feeling that you have. And I think however people describe it, I think it's the same feeling that someone would describe who is traditionally religious, for instance, that feeling of being connected and things clicking, and this like, oh yeah, this is right here, right now. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. That feeling of alignment, that is certainly a huge part of healing for me, because you can, take 10,000 supplements, and if the things going on in your life are not supportive, not creating an environment conducive to you feeling purposeful, whatever that is for you, I think that it can be very hard to heal. But certainly just also, accessing different kinds of resources. And one of the things that I think both of us have supported each other with, and people in the community with, is, how to access resources when something makes sense for you. Getting to an acupuncture appointment and checking that out would be really good for me. Or there's a holistic herbalist that I want to make an appointment with that I feel really good about, and how to finance accessing those resources, how to find them in the first place, because it does takes all different kinds of healers sometimes for us to find the right combination of both our mindset and the kind of conversation that we're having with ourselves about our healing, but also the resources that we're accessing externally, and how we feel supported by other healers. So
yeah, I love that so much, Sarah. And I appreciate what you said about alignment, because that's really huge for me too, and I totally forgot to mention it. But I think that aligning yourself in itself is healing, right? And I think it's like a really foundational building block, when you're on a healing journey. And I think even for people that might not consider themselves on a healing journey, like if they're like, this is what I have and this is what I'm going to have forever, even just like aligning yourself or realigning yourself can be so huge and really change that experience. And then the second part of what you said, like, everyone everyone really needs a support team to heal. And part of that support team is having practitioners that you trust, that you feel like are really on your team. So I think that's really huge. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah. Well, if someone was interested in coaching with you, either one-to-one or checking out some of the programs that you're doing, what would you suggest they do?
Well, I suggest that they do a strategy session with me, which is a complimentary consultation where we take a look at their current experience and, what's going on for them in this moment. Then we'll look at where they'd really love to be, and then what the best support is going to be for them to get there, what the best next step is. And maybe that's working with me, and maybe it's not. Like sometimes people come my way and it really seems like therapy or counseling is a better fit for them in the moment. Or sometimes if someone's like just really in like a ton of pain, or they're early on in their journey, then I'll refer them to another practitioner. So I just like to put that out there. But yeah, so I do one-on-one coaching, and I'm running 3 different groups right now. And so I'm always excited to talk to people about both of those opportunities.
Great. Yeah, and I think it's great that you're clarifying the what the coaching space can be used for. And, neither of us are counselors or therapists. That's not what we're trained to do, but we both do help people to seek out all of the resources that they might need, which is one of the things that I love about a coaching session is sometimes with folks, they might, I have people usually do a reflection form before our sessions, and, people might mention something like a family issue or something that they want to talk with a doctor about. And, and when it comes up in coaching, then the authentic action is often, okay, as soon as I get off the phone with you, I'm going to text my therapist to make an appointment, or I'm going to call my doctor, or, I heard about this practitioner, I'm going to call and make an appointment. So it can be a really wonderful space to figure out what other resources you need.
Yeah. Definitely. And I think I definitely consider myself like part of somebody's constellation of healing support. Like most of my clients are also seeing therapists or getting some kind of mental health support. And then of course they're seeing, practitioners for their body as well. Mm-hmm. And maybe even like an energy healer on top of that. Like, it's the possibilities are kind of endless in terms of what kind of support you can layer on with coaching.
Yeah. Yay.
Yay.
Is there anything that we haven't covered that you would love to share with folks?
I guess just that I'm working on a little book about healing Lyme, and specifically it's specifically about getting aligned and how to get the mind and soul part of mind, body, and soul on lock so that you can really heal your body. So like, I'm not going to talk about like any of the treatments for Lyme. I'm just going to talk about like how to get you and your body like ready to go, so that whatever treatment you're doing, like, your emotional health, mental health, just like the way that you're thinking and planning around your treatment is solid. And I'm hopeful that will be supportive for people as well.
Exciting. And everybody can find you on your website.
Yep, which is just noellejanka.com.
Excellent. And we will be taking questions here on the, there'll be a comments thread, I believe. Mm-hmm. And so since we weren't able to do this broadcast live, if you want to just leave a comment, Noelle and or I will love to be in touch with you and reply to that. And I think either of us would be happy to receive any questions privately as well, if you want to Both of us have a Facebook page. You could send either of us a message. But if you'd like to share a question or a comment that the community can see and take part in the conversation, we will love to see those and reply to them.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, Sarah.
Thank you for asking me, Noelle. This was so much fun.
Yeah, cool. Well, let's talk soon.
All right. Bye.